Good day, everyone. Today, me and my group members are going to describe about our mini project 2 in system analysis and design. So before we start, let me introduce ourselves. My name is Lakshman son of Nathan. My metric number is 01DDT20F1083.
Hey guys, my name is Satyalangu and my metric number is 01DDT20F1093.
Hi guys, my name is Saran Ram and my matrix number is 01DDT20F111.
So these are the table of contents for our mini project 2. First, user interface design guideline. Second, user interface components including screen elements and controls with elaboration. Third one, output and input controls and security. Fourth one, explain the system project testing that is involved in our project. Fifth one, explain how you implement your project to your user. Describe the step and configuration required. And the last one is suggest an appropriate system support and security for your project. So let's see the first one, user interface design guidelines. Place users in control of the interface. Good user interfaces provide their consumers a sense of control. Keeping users in control makes them feel more at ease and they will learn more rapidly and gain a sense of control. Create an easy to use interface. Navigation should always be simple and obvious. Any software product's interface should be enjoyable for users to explore. Good UI puts people at ease by offering context about where they are, where they have been, and where they can go next. Here we provided some visual cues as reminder for users. This can help the users can see where they are in the interface right away according to page names and never make a user to wonder where are they and how do they get in this screen. You guys can see the picture. And the next one is, in here we have provided the users with cues that help them predict the result of an action and never make them wonder what do they need to press in order to their task and what is the button for. Now provide informative feedback be acknowledging. Feedback is often related with points of action. The system should provide a meaningful, clear response for every user activity. A system that provides feedback for every action assists users in achieving their objective with minimal effort. We have designed to animate like a pop-up message which will show them sign up completed. When users complete their steps to sign up and also when they successfully added and verify their fingerprint and after complete all the necessary process to start using our application. This makes the user acknowledge and notify when they have successfully done their process.
Okay, now let's see, make it comfortable for a user to interact with the product. Eliminate all elements that are not helping your users. Interfaces should not include information that is irrelevant or is only used infrequently. Irrelevant information adds noise to the user interface by competing with relevant information and reducing its relative visibility. Simplify user interfaces by reducing unnecessary features or content that does not directly assist users' tasks. So, in our application, we have followed the less is more approach by avoiding overloading the interface with content or features. You can see here. The interface of our secret user application is a clean typing chip with no distraction. It allows users to focus on what they are writing and hides everything else. Then, avoid jargon and system-oriented terms. It is critical to utilize language that is simple to read and understand when building a product. Instead of jargon or system-oriented terms, the system should speak the user's language using words, phrases, and concepts that the user is familiar with. For our application, we have used everyday language, not systems or developed language. It is because to not trouble users to become difficult when using our application. Now, let's see, apply Fitts law to interactive elements. Fitts law states that the time required to acquire a target is proportional to the target's distance and size. This suggests that it is preferable to design bigger goals for critical functions. Big buttons are easier to interact with. In our application, we have given a large size buttons to all the pages, as you can see above, which is bigger than user's finger. This makes the user easier to interact with our application.
Okay, guys, now let's see the next user interface design guidelines, which is protect a user's work. Ensure that user's work is never lost. Users should not lose work due to an error on their end, a system fault, problems with an internet connection, or any other cause. To prevent happening data loss, we have implemented an autosave function in our application, secret user. So users can note or write their notes or data, and after what they can tap the back button and it will save automatically in our application. Next, reduce cognitive load. The amount of mental processing capacity required to use a product is referred to as cognitive load. It is preferable to avoid making user think or work too hard in order for them to use your product. Next, reduce the number of actions required to complete a task. When developing a user interface, try to minimize the number of steps necessary by the user to accomplish the goal. It's important to remember the 3-click rule, which states that a product's user should be able to find any information with no more than 3 mouse clicks. We have simply use of our application for the user. User needs to log in via their email, password, and fingerprint. Then to create note, user need to tap to add button, which is in the symbol, and they can start creating notes. After that, they tap the back button, which is also the arrow symbol below, and it will save their file automatically. And lastly, they need to tap log out when they quit the app. Next, promote visual clarity. A well-organized visual interface increases usability and legibility, allowing users to discover the information they need more quickly and use the interface more efficiently. We have avoided presenting too much information at one time on the screen, our application's interface. We also remember the principle form follows function and make things look like they work. In our application, we have make all the buttons which is available to work and not to make the user frustrated. It will also show where to tap to move to the next page. So the next slide will be explained by Rajmu.
Now let's see the fourth one. Make user interface consistent. Consistency is an important aspect of successful user interface design. Consistent design is intuitive design. One of the most important factors in usability and learnability in consistency. The core concept of consistency is transferable knowledge and allowing users to transfer their knowledge and skills from one portion of an app's UI to another, as well as from one app to another. Now the visual consistency style. Users should never dispute a product's integrity. The product should use the same colors, font, and icons throughout. Always with your design system manager to ensure that you are not changing visual styles within your product for no apparent reason. As you all can see in our application, we avoid using different styles for buttons on different pages of the site. All the buttons are in the same size and the fonts used are same too. It is because users should not wonder why the buttons are changed and make them blur to move to the next step. Now, functional consistency behavior. Consistency of behavior implies that the object should behave consistently throughout the interface. Within a product, the behavior of interface components such as buttons and menu items should not change. Users dislike surprises or alterations in their routine behavior, and they become easily annoyed when things don't function. This can limit learning and make users unsure about the consistency of the UI. Keep activities consistent by adopting the principle of least surprise to ensure that the interface behaves as users expect it to. In our application, the users needs to tap the button in the user interfaces that we have created to move to the next page, now hovering, pressing, entering, and touching.
So now let's go into the user interface components, including screen elements and controls with elaboration. Okay, so here you can see we have the start button. This is the button that introduces us to the application. Once the user click the get start button, it allows us to access the application and view the menu. This is the first button of this interface. And then you can see for the sign up, they have a Gmail button. This button is created for user to use Gmail if required. Once the user click this button, it will allow to sign up the application using the Gmail. And you can see here Yahoo Mail button. This button is created for the user to use Yahoo Mail. This is one of the familiar mail that has been used by people. Once the user click this button, it will allow the user to sign up using Yahoo Mail. And also they have a Microsoft Mail button. This button is created for the third option in the interface. Once the user click this button, it will allow user to sign up using Microsoft. And down you can see this is the next button. This button has been created for user to access the application after sign up. And this is the create profiling page. So here have the text fields. This field is provided to fill up the user's first name. And here this text field has been created for user to insert their last name. And also you can see this is the text field as created for user to enter mobile number. And down there you can see they are created for user to input the last 4 digits of their identity card for the security purpose. And also you all can see there's a terms and condition button. This button has been created to show the terms to use this application. Once the user click this button, it will provide more information about this application and agreement. After reading the terms and condition, you can see here one tick box. This tick box has been created to have an agreement to all the terms. Once the user click the box, it will allow to the next interface. And finally, this button has been created to save the information that has gathered and verify the user's fingerprint. Once the user click this button, it will ask for fingerprint to access.
Fingerprint icon access. You can see in the picture. This authentication has been created to secure the application. Users should create own security. And also here also we add a next button. Once the fingerprint created, user can click this next button to view the application. Now let's see the pattern icon. This optional authentication has been created on securing the application using various patterns inserted by the user. And now the pin icon. This authentication has been for the user to use for a backup pin for the application. And lastly, the next button. Click this next button once the authentication created. And the sixth one is email fields. These fields has been created at the login page for user to enter the email. Email should be same as previously. And the second one, password fields. This is the password fields that user should create a strong password that include numbers, letters, and any alphabet, for example, hashtag, like that. And then fingerprint icon. Once the user has been created the account, next the user need to use fingerprint to access the app.
Okay, now let's see the seventh one, which is add button. So this button has been created to include new node into it. And then the second one will be logout button. And this button has been created for user to log out. And once the action finished in the application, once log out the application, it will go to the main page. So next one, let's see the text field. The text field has been created for the user to use the platform and to save notes, edit notes, and delete. And then the next one will be message box. This message box will pop up once the sign up complete successfully. The next one will be another message box. The message will be shown once the fingerprint authentication successfully created, and this message will ensure the security of this application. And the last one will be it will gather all the information that users enter is correct, and once the user creates the account user, it will notify that the account has been created successfully. So let's see the next question, which is output and input control and security. So LCS software and secure technology is well known of threats that occur in the project. So we are ensured that this application needs all the security required. The data that we have input will control and reject invalid inputs, data inputs, prevent unauthorized data output, and protect data and programs against accidental or malicious tampering. Our team are aware of this to prevent. We have three types of authentication, and the data that the user input are safely stored and can't be retrieved. It is protected. So users' information are also included with the question before the registration in the application, and the output will not appear for any other user for security purpose. We have given them three options for the user to log in via email, which is Gmail, Yahoo Mail, and Microsoft. Furthermore, to create account, they have to insert first a name, last name, mobile number, and 4 digits of their identity card. The data they have inserted will be stored in our application's database as shown below. For example, in the email, there is three emails there, which is J. Sina, and then Lakshman, and then E. Satya. So if you see here, the email has been stored, and then the username, which is Ram, Lakshman, and Satya, has been also stored, and their mobile number, which is also stored here, and their 4 digit of identity card has been stored, and the fingerprint access has been granted. So it has been approved. So these are the example of the table that stored in our database. So the next slide will be explained by Satya.
So let us see the output security now. We have added a strong security features within applications to prevent security vulnerabilities against threats such as unauthorized access and modification. We highly protect users' information. Here we have created the user to enter email and password for security output. So you can see this is the first step and this is the second step. The user need to use their own email to prevent any misuse or any data loss from this application. And the email will be verified and allow the user to enter the application to follow the next step. Then user need to create an email and the user need to input the email and password that has been used to sign up. If a user enters new email or any other password that does not register, the system will not allow.
Now let's see the input security control. We have created three types of authentication that for the system to verify the user to log into our application. Any input supplied by a user or application, user's input validation prevents improperly formed data from entering to the system. You guys can see in below the picture, the fingerprint authentication and the pattern and password authentication. These three authentication has been established to secure our application. Fingerprint can be more protective because it is a person identity that will be recognized by the system that will allow user to use the application, and for backup, we also have an option which is pattern and pin. It will be a plan B for our project. Rather than the user, no one can access their account. Now let's see the fourth one. Explain the system or project testing that is involved in your project.
So let's see the unit testing. Unit testing, we have choose the unit testing under our project testing. So unit testing is a testing technique in which individual modules are tested by the developer to see if there are any problems. It is concerned with the standalone modules, functional soundness, and the main aim is to isolate each unit of the system to identify, analyze, and fix the defects. We have used unit testing to implement our project secret user. This reduces defects in the newly developed features or reduce bugs when changing the existing functionality. Reduces cost of testing as the defects are captured in every early phase. It provides design and allows better refining of code. It tests when integrated with build gives the quality of the build as well. Each step has been followed by black box testing, white box testing, and gray box testing. We have executed our project by testing our interface and its input, and all those functions in our application has been improved and performing well. So the application will be demonstrated by Satya.
So now I'm going to demonstrate you all how our app secret user will work. So the first of all, user need to install our application secret user in Google Play Store on the user's smartphone. So after installing, users need to launch the application. So this will be the first user interface of our application after installing. User need to tap the Get Start button using the application. Now, user need to sign up with their emails, which they can sign up using Gmail, Yahoo Mail, and Microsoft Mail in order to get into our application. After signing up, a notification will be shown which is sign up completed and an arrow to navigate to the next step, which is to create account for our application. Tap the arrow. So the next step is to create a profile for the user for the secret user application. User need to provide their first name, last name, mobile number, and lastly, their 4-digit of their identity card for the security purpose. After user filling up all the necessary details, user need to read the terms and conditions of our application and tick the checkbox of I agree to all the terms and conditions above. Tap Save and Verify Fingerprint in order to add user's fingerprint to the application database. So now, user can start scanning with the center of user's fingertip until the fingerprint get recognized. So once the user's fingerprint get recognized and added, a notification will pop up, which is you have successfully added your fingerprint, and show an arrow to navigate to the next step. Okay, so user need to set up backup password even they added their fingerprint because the app secret user is fully fingerprint authenticated. So this backup password is an alternative way to get access into the app and the user's personal data unless their fingerprint is not recognized. For example, use with their wet finger and when their finger damaged. User can choose their backup password, which can be a pattern or pin protection. Choose and set up, and after that tap the arrow icon. Now, a pop-up notification will occur, which is you have successfully finished the registration process after completing all the registration steps. And now, user can log in into the application with the details used just now by tapping the login button. You can see here, I have put now you can log in to start using the application. So click the log, tap the login. In the login page, it will require user's email, password, and user's fingerprint that verified just now in the setup progress. Fill up the email and password and scan the fingerprint to get inside. In the case the user forgotten their password, no worries. They will be showing a message after several attempts of wrong password, which will be, sorry, the password isn't right. We can help you to recover your password. To reset, tap the button forget password. So if they click this forget password option, they will redirect to reset their password. After that, they can log in back. So after fill up their email and password and scan the fingerprint, they can go inside, and this is the main page of this application. This will be the user interface after logging in. User can start creating notes by tapping this add icon. Basically in this application, autosave data enable and the data store here will be encrypt once the user log out. So now let's click the add button. User can store their personal data, notes and credentials in this application. So this is just the prototype, so we cannot type. So for testing, we have so to show how it works, we have given a text here. Hello world, I am Chitti, speed 1 terahertz, memory 1 gigabyte. So after user typing their notes, they can click this back and they will go to the create note interface. So you can see here that a portion is created and inside that you can see that the texts are encrypted. It is because if anyone knows the backup password and get access into the application, they can also view the user's data. So to avoid happening that, the security we implemented in this application is only user can decrypt the message with the fingerprint recognition. So click that. So you can see here, after you clicking that text, here will show the message to decrypt the note fingerprint required. So after the user's fingerprint verified, the text will be decrypted. So now the user can see their data. To go back to the main page, user need to tap the arrow button. So this is the main page of the creating note. Users can log out after they finish using the app by tapping the logout button. So user need to follow the steps above again to use the application secret user and to store data. So that's all for our prototype application. This will be implementing in our final year project. And this is how it will work. Thank you all.
Now let's see the sixth one. Suggest an appropriate system, support and security for your project. The system support. Bug updates once in a month. A patch is a collection of changes to a computer program or smartphone application or its supporting data that are intended to update, fix, or improve it. This includes patching security vulnerabilities and other flaws, which are sometimes referred to as bug fixes or bug fixes. For our application, we'll discover the bugs and resolve it and give update to the user once in a month. If a huge issues identify in our application, we will try to resolve as soon as possible and we give update immediately to the user. This makes the user gain trust on our application, secret user, and would not move to another application similar to us. And the second one, daily backup occurs. Users can backup and sync their notes and personal data across their devices using the secure cloud, for example, Amazon Cloud Drive, Apple iCloud, Google Drive, Microsoft OneDrive, and etc. Cloud file syncing keeps file in different location up to the data through the cloud. For cloud file syncing, a user set up a cloud-based folder to which the desired files are copied. This folder makes the file accessible via a web interface for multiple users on whatever device they are using. This also can help recover files when the user accidentally delete their data in the application because it is synced. And the last one is security, application security. For the application secret user security, we have used fingerprint access security. Fingerprint scanning is one major advantage over traditional security system. It is passwordless. This provides an added layer of comfort and convenience for users. They no longer have to remember and type in a long and complicated passwords to access their data. However, it also offers an added level of security for service providers. When user open the app, user place their finger on the mobile device sensor. At this point, user device scan their finger to determine if it's a match to the stored fingerprint. There are a number of different scanners available to perform this task, from capacitive scanners, which rely on electric waves, to optical scanners, which rely on a visual image of the fingerprint, to ultrasound scanners, which rely on sound waves. It is incredibly hard for cyber criminals to get access to users' actual fingerprint data since it's encrypted and stored on the device itself. So biometric systems are completely secure. Another application security we have used is showing intruders photo. Our application will notify the user about wrong password attempts and will show them a photo of the intruder that will send to their email. It will be easy for user to detect who is trying to steal their data. And then file security. For the file security, we have used encryption AES256. Users' notes and data are always stored encrypted with AES256 standard in our application secret user, which is used in banking systems. The strongest encryption standard is AES256, which has a key length of 256 bits and is practically unbreakable by the brute force based on current computing capability. There is had to be a single instance of AES256 ever being hacked into, but that hasn't been for a lack of trying. And then the user security. For the user security we have implemented is data hiding and self-destruction data. Enable hiding and destroying the most critical and encrypted nodes if someone tries to break into user private vault after so many attempts. And that's all, guys, for our mini project 2 for system analysis and design. Thank you for Puan Siti Sharmila to giving this opportunity. I hope you guys all understand about our mini project 2. Until then, goodbye. See you.